gaps, and how South Sudan can address some of the important lessons that are coming out of the report. So, with your permission, I just want to highlight some of those challenges that need to be addressed in South Sudan. First of all, when we talk about the legal frameworks, so there is number one, the global, and then what can happen at the national. So on the global normative frameworks, there are a number of international conventions that South Sudan still needs to ratify, particularly those dealing with copyright, the Berne conventions, etc. Why? Because again, it's those international instruments that guarantee exactly the rights and exactly the objectives that we are talking about here. So I just want to remind you that that work needs to move forward and move forward. And the second point is the national level legislation. So the legal framework for culture, there's of course, I understand there's a draft currently with Parliament, but that needs to move to adoption. And we need specific policy frameworks for the cultural and creative industries, such as music, film, etc. This needs to be elaborated. And then when we have addressed the legal, the normative frameworks, then there's the issue of inclusivity in terms of the actors now in the creative industries. One area that is coming out clearly from the report is the issue of female practitioners in the cultural and creative industries. Females remain underrepresented, particularly in the senior level positions as managers and directors. And that's another area that needs to be addressed here in South Sudan. And the other issue which cuts across between the normative and the legal is also the issue that the sector is mostly informal in nature here in South Sudan. Perhaps because people underestimate its contribution to economic development, and therefore maybe we're not paying too much attention to that. But hopefully going forward, we can be learning from the trends we see in the report to start addressing it in a more formal way. And the other challenge, you see, the convention was 2005, and imagine that the iPhone, how old is the iPhone? They are now at the iPhone 14. Is it around 15 years? How old is an iPhone? When did they start? 15 years, I suppose. So the convention was 2005. I suppose that was before the iPhone. We were still probably in Nokia phones. And I don't know if the BlackBerry was already out at that moment. I don't remember. I'm also getting older, so I didn't check my notes on that. But just to indicate to you that pre-convention, the issue was in the cinema everywhere. We are not finding diversity because Hollywood is dominating. But now think about what has happened in the digital world since the convention was adopted. So the other challenge we have here in South Sudan is the digital environment for the sector. It's still very limited, perhaps due to the expensive cost of internet connectivity. But that's a huge challenge in the context of 2022. Because now, if you don't exist online in this industry, perhaps it's very hard to to really exist as an industry, as a business, as a source of income. So that is another real challenge. This is where the digital divide is also having more challenges for people that do not have the resources to be on. So that's a real challenge for South Sudan.